Now, the Financial Sector Conduct Authority of South Africa is calling on the public to contact it or check whether they are eligible for pension benefit payouts. The organisation says more than 4 million South Africans are owed funds amounting to, listen to this, 43 billion rand. Now, in their attempt to get their money, many fall prey to so-called independent tracing agents who promise to access it on their behalf for free. To tell us more, we're joined by Sanele Magazi, who is the Retirement Funds Manager at FSCA. Sanele, good to have you. Thanks very much for addressing this important issue with us.
Thank you for having me, Leah.
I mean, this is a lot of money we're talking about, 43 billion rand. After how long do you actually declare pension funds unclaimed? And, you know, of course, I mean, how long does it take to accumulate so much money?
Okay, with regards to the unclaimed benefits, the definition is within the Pension Funds Act. So unclaimed benefits are defined as any benefit that is due and payable but has not been paid within 24 months when it's due and payable. Let's say, for instance, if you resign or retrenched or retire. So if you do not claim within 24 months, that is now classified as a unclaimed benefit. And with regards to the accumulation, it's this amount of money and the members that owed these benefits. It has accumulated over a number of decades.
Let's talk to some of the reasons why people wouldn't actually claim.
Okay. All right. Some of the reasons why people do not claim is, first of all, some people do not even know that they were contributing towards retirement funds. So they do not claim because they are not aware that there are benefits that they should be claiming. And in some instances, people have lost contact with their employers or their retirement funds. And because of migrant labor, there are also issues with record keeping and people updating their addresses, their phone numbers, so it's difficult to trace those people. And some are even in the SADC region.
That's very, very fascinating. I mean, so in other words, you could have been working for a company that this money was always deducted and taken off, and you just never ever knew about it, or you just actually forgot about it, left it, and it's now classified as an unclaimed fund.
That is correct, yes. So even with people who change jobs, they are not aware that when they're changing jobs that they could transfer those funds to their current employer.
Amazing. And is that something that you find, obviously with this amount of money that is unclaimed, that must happen often, that people just do not actually move that pension fund across to the companies, whoever is their sort of pension fund holder or investment?
Yes, so that's a big issue as well, because those funds lay there. So it happens that when a person changes employers, they maybe claim from their current employer, whereas they still have benefits which are due with their previous pension fund.
So let's bring your organisation into the fore, the Financial Sector Conduct Authority of South Africa. What do you do? I mean, if you're sitting with this amount of money, 43 billion rand, unclaimed, surely it's in people's names, firstly, and do you try at all to get hold of them to try and help people out?
Okay, so first of all, with regards to these funds are held within these the relevant retirement funds. So we found that there are about 1,300 retirement funds that hold this 43 billion assets. So as the FSCA, we have first of all put pressure on these on the boards for the relevant funds to make efforts in terms of trying to trace these members. And as the FSCA, we've also employed various strategies to try and trace these unclaimed benefits. For instance, we have road shows or that we do that we call taking regulation to the people and outreaches, where we go out into the various communities around the country and try to inform people about these unclaimed benefits, try to get information out of them and get them to fill in forms, which we take and then send to the relevant retirement funds for them to check whether there's any unclaimed benefits due to those respective members. And then also what we do as well, we do have a website. On our website, we have a search portal for the unclaimed benefits. So people can go on to www.fsca.co.za, wherein they can input they will be asked to input their information, for instance, your name and surname, your ID number, and then you'll get a response as to whether there's any possible trace. So once you get that possible trace, it will give you a number of the relevant administrator, wherein you can contact them to verify whether there is indeed an unclaimed benefit due to you. We also accept walk-in clients, but that has been hindered by the lockdown and COVID. So what we did in the normal circumstances is that we accept people who come to our offices and take their information, like for instance, their employment history, their personal details, if they have any documents such as pay slips or any fund statements, wherein we can try to connect them to the relevant pension fund. We can do that, and also we have an SMS line where people can SMS their ID number to 30913. And we also have an email address that is pension.queries@fsca.co.za.
All right, so there are quite a few ways of having a look at this, which is very, very helpful. And I'm going to, just at the end of the interview, I'm going to ask you just to repeat the website and also that SMS number so that we can actually get that out and people can see whether or not they are, in fact, owed money. Because, I mean, this could change people's lives. However, just from speaking to a couple of colleagues, they've shared experiences of trying to access pension funds on behalf of their loved ones. And they say that it's not a very pleasant task. How accessible is the government employees pension fund, for example?
So with regards to the government employees pension fund, unfortunately, it doesn't fall under the regulation of the FSCA. So it's a standalone fund that people can contact the GPF directly and their administrator. So the FSCA does not have any affiliation with the GPF.
All right. Now, the other issue I want to talk to is the independent tracing agents, because that's something we spoke about in saying that they take advantage of people trying to access their funds. They say that they'll do it for free, but they actually fall victim to a scam. What do you advise people? I mean, should they just come directly to you? Should they be very wary of actually including another party in this process?
Yes, and I think we normally call them tracing agents, these rogue tracing agents, but I think it's also an insult to the genuine tracing agents, because what these people do, they defraud people, claiming to trace benefits for them for a fee. So there are genuine tracing agents that are contracted to the pension funds. So with the genuine tracing agents, they have a list that they're given by the funds and told to try to trace the members. And these genuine tracing agents will never ask for a fee from the member. And funds do not give out any information relating to how much a member is owed. Even the FSCA does not have records in terms of what each individual member is owed by the fund. So these rogue agents, they defraud people, claiming to trace funds for them and charging them exorbitant fees and promising them that they have their benefit statements and that they are owed millions. But this is in fact fraud on the part of these rogue agents.
Right. Quick question to you. What happens to unclaimed funds? And obviously you say that, they've been sitting for years, tens of years, if not longer. What happens, and when do you sort of say, well, this is now unclaimed and we can let go of it, but where does that go?
At the moment, these funds are not, there's no end goal to say that at a certain point we say that this is untraceable and these funds should be maybe invested somewhere else or used for other purposes. For as long as that member has not been traced, the fund has to keep those funds for that member in case, for instance, 10 years down the line, the member comes up and claims that unclaimed benefit. So at the moment, there hasn't been any sort of cutoff to say that because of the lack of information or we have tried all our best to trace this member, so these funds should be used somewhere else. So at the moment, as long as the fund has not traced that member, that benefit is due to that member or their beneficiaries in case, for instance, where a person has already passed away, their grandchildren, their children can claim that benefit.
Yeah, that's the question I was going to ask you, because obviously a lot of the times the individual may be deceased and, it may be generations later that are trying to claim, and they are still able to claim these funds if they have the right information. But that could be the catch, is that this information might be very, very difficult for them to obtain. But this is where they get hold of you to help them.
Yeah, so like this basic information that we request for a member to meet us halfway or from the beneficiary, they must at least have the person's name, surname, ID, where the person worked, because in most instances you find that the person no longer has the pay slips or benefit statement, or they're not even aware of their relevant pension funds. So at least if they have the employer name, we can try to search on our database to see whether we can connect that employer to a certain fund, and we can try to assist that beneficiary.
All right, Sanele, thank you. And I want to just get that SMS number from you once again, because we've got all the other details scrolling at the bottom of the screen. I hope people are writing this down, and the website, which I in fact went to go and visit myself. It's quite simple, fsca.co.za. Go in there and the database is available for you to go in and check if you're on it. But the SMS number again, Sanele, just before I let you go.
Okay, it's 30913.
All right, 30913. And what do you SMS to that?
You SMS just your ID number.
Okay, brilliant. Good luck. Thanks so much. I hope this has helped a lot of people. It's an absolute pleasure. Thanks for talking to us. Sanele Magazi is the Retirement Fund Manager at the Financial Sector Conduct Authority. He was speaking to us about the millions of people who are owed unclaimed pensions. I mean, we're talking in excess of 4 million people. The amount that is unclaimed at the moment is 43 billion rand. So get those details and see if perhaps you are owed or one of your family members is owed. All right, 7:30. Let's get your headlines.